What's up, guys? Welcome to today's video. Hope you guys are all having a great week so far. It's currently Tuesday evening at about 6:30 at night, and today's video is going to be talking about going into a little bit more detail on our first ever loss as a flipping business. So we started our business. The first full year was actually 2021, but we did flip our first home in 2019. We then went on and flipped maybe, I don't even remember, like one or two in 2020, and then we flipped about 13 in 2021, and we are now on, I believe, 22 for 2022, and our profit margins have increased every single year, obviously. So I not only want to talk about this specific loss, or our first loss ever on our properties that we've been flipping, specifically not rental properties, but I also want to break down some of the profit margins that we've seen this year, because it's been incredible. When I actually broke this down today, I'm very grateful for how good the first part of the year started. It kind of allows this transitional period where the market's shifting a little bit easy. It makes it a little bit easier with the profits that we had at the beginning of the year. So without further ado, let's get started. This is the complete profit and loss chart that I made for all of our properties in 2022. This is in order, or at least for the most part, on when we actually sold these properties. Starting from the top one was at the very beginning of the year. You guys can see basically the purchase price, what we sold it for, the renovation budget we had on it, the profit that we had on it, the sale date that we had on it, if you guys want to compare any of the sale dates, the timeline, how long it took us, profit per day, which is a really good metric to really figure out what your opportunity cost is on every property. We have the lead source as well. We have some notes too that I want to talk about, and then the cash on cash return percentage, which is very important to us, another metric that we look at heavily as well when we're looking to potentially purchase a property. The green one is the biggest profit that we've ever made. Or not ever made, excuse me, the biggest profit this year. We had a better profit last year. The blue one is the best profit per day, which is basically one of probably the best opportunity cost from an opportunity cost standpoint. The highlighted blue one was our best deal, and then the red one is the worst deal so far this year. And then these bold ones down here are the averages. So our average purchase price when we go to buy it is $322,000. When we go to sell it is $413,000. The average renovation is $35,000 or $36,000, let's round up. And then the average profit per property is $41,726, which is a very important metric that we like to look at, is obviously what is our average profit per property. We started the beginning of the year strong. We had 2 property sales in January, which totaled about $77,000 in total profit. So that's a great way to start the year. The first week alone, we had a $52,000 pull profit. Some of these blank ones right here, we actually assigned those. So we actually wholesaled those ourselves. So we didn't actually put any of our own money or renovation money into the property. We simply got the contract and we sold it to someone else that was going to basically do what we normally do, flip the property or renovate the property and list it as an Airbnb. So we actually did 2 assignments this year, these 2 right here, and they were pretty good assignments. I'd say one of them we made a total of $20,000, which is this one right here. And then the second one we made $25,000. So simply from finding good deals and just assigning it to someone else with absolutely no risk involved, we made $45,000 this year. And then you guys can just kind of browse through everything else here. So this is the city. We went Chandler, Florence. We were all over Phoenix area this year. And yeah, have a look. Let's break down our best profit deal, and let's break down our worst profit deal or our loss deal. Let's break down the best opportunity cost deal. Everything else you guys can just kind of browse through if you want. So this deal, our best profit was a total profit of $96,000. This was, I would say, like the market was just absolutely insane. This deal, I think, went over $50,000 over list price. So this was in March of this year, almost April of this year, pretty much the peak of the market. We had a total of like 30 offers on this property. It was like mind-blowing. It was just like within the first weekend of, we didn't even go through a whole weekend, but the first weekend we had like 50 something showings, every single offer, but like 2 of them were over list price. Very strong offers too, sold as is, no repairs. It was just crazy. So that was a $96,000 profit on a $60,000 renovation. But this property did take us quite a long time because we actually had to do a lease back. So the profit per day didn't actually look too good. It was $696 per day. And the reason why I want to say profit per day is a very important metric because it doesn't only take into consideration the amount of profit you made for the property, but it takes into consideration how long you had your money in the property and how fast you were able to get your money out of the property and basically go invest your money elsewhere and do the same thing. So profit per day takes into consideration how fast we made that money as well. And then if you guys want to go look over here on the cash on cash return section, I just made a whole video on this. Cash on cash returns, basically what money are you getting back for the amount of money that you put in. And this is a very important metric as well because it basically shows another method of another way of opportunity cost with how much money did we need to invest in order to make this amount of money. So obviously the higher percent return, the better. So our best cash on cash return percentage was also this property as well at 23%. So we made 23% of our money back on our original investment. You guys can have a look at some of these notes too. You can screenshot it if you want right now and then or pause the video, excuse me. There we go. And now let's talk about the best profit per day. So the reason why this is our best profit per day is because of how fast we moved this property. This was a 75-day project and we moved it extremely fast with a total profit of $78,000. So it wasn't as high as the 96, but we moved it in almost half the amount of time, which gave us more opportunity to buy a property with that money that we got back out of it. And another really cool thing about this chart right here is it shows how we got our leads as well. So there's a wide variety, but most of them were direct to seller leads. So we had one from Craigslist that we found on Craigslist. We had a couple wholesale deals, direct to seller on social media, meaning someone either messaged my business partner or myself saying they have someone that wants to sell their house, they personally want to sell their house, whatever it may be. We paid them a finder's fee to find us the deal. Even if it was their own house, we gave them a discount on our we made the offer price higher if it was their own house. If not, we paid them out a percentage of what we thought our profits would be. We have some MLS deals where we went to the MLS and we actually asked the agent to represent both sides of the deal. So we got a couple deals that way this year, which is always a really good way to do it. It incentivizes the listing agent to help both sides of the party. It's not ethical, but a lot of agents do it. Direct to seller, social media. We had one direct to seller mailed letter. So that was really cool. We actually mailed out probably 1,000 letters earlier this year, and we actually had one person message us back, and we locked that property up, which was another really cool method. And then the rest of them were pretty much the same thing. Social media, wholesale. We only work with a handful of wholesalers, maybe a total of 2 or 3 this year. We like one wholesaler, but for the most part, there's not enough margin in these wholesale deals these days. Like, they try to take way more than what I think they should, and they don't leave enough margin for us end buyers, essentially. Now let's break down the worst deal, which is kind of what the point of this video was. So we just closed on this property yesterday for a total loss of $4,273, unfortunately. I'm very happy with how clean we came out of this deal. We got the new home buyers a beautiful home. They got a great deal on it. It was an FHA buyer, so I know that they were very grateful that we were able to work with them, or we were willing to work with them on it. But a lot of bad things happened throughout this transaction. We had a hedge fund offer us full list price offer, no contingencies, basically I think within the first 10 days of our property going live. So we were set to make about $12,000 to $15,000 profit from the first potential buyer that we had under contract. The unfortunate thing is they dragged this contract along for a total of 3 whole weeks, and they canceled the contract a day before closing. And the thing with these huge hedge funds, they have a lot of stipulations in their contract, which gives them a lot of loopholes where they can get out of the deal and get their whole earnest money deposit back. And the reason why they have that much leverage is because they come in all cash. The hedge funds that I've worked with at the beginning of the year were really, really easy to work with. So I was like, they're a cash buyer. There's no appraisal. They buy it as is. Like, if they throw in like a loophole here and there where they can get out of the deal later on, like, it's worth the risk. And sure enough, they ended up using one of their loopholes, got out of the deal the day before closing, got their whole earnest money deposit back. Basically, it was like talking to a robot this entire transaction. I will never work with this company again. They were based out in Georgia. horrible reviews, not only on when they buy properties, but they're a residential rental company, so they buy them and then rent them out. Horrible reviews on that side of the spectrum as well, from just tenants of theirs absolutely just destroying this company on Google reviews. Horrible customer service, no response rate. So we should have done a little bit more due diligence on that, because it wasn't just that we got a worse offer, we got a lower offer. It was the fact that in a market shifting this fast, to go off market for a total of almost 4 weeks, it just made like our property, it just devalued our property even more, because that month probably dropped the value of that property about $10,000. And sure enough, that's the offer that we got in, came about $10,000 lower than theirs. And then on top of that, because it sat on the market for so long, I'm not blaming this company, but someone came in and stole our appliances as well, which wouldn't have happened if we had closed on time the first time. So a series of unfortunate events, and we're grateful that the end buyer and the buyer's agent and the lender of that buyer were amazing to work with. They closed this deal in 15 days for an FHA buyer. Very, very easy, great communication. So it could have been a lot worse, but it could have been a lot better as well. So taking a $4,273 loss sucks, but it is what it is. It could have been worse, like I said. And talking to some of my friends and colleagues, other flippers, there's been some heavy losses lately, and there will continue to be heavy losses throughout the year. So that's why we're halting a lot of our buys right now. We haven't bought a property since June of this, or July of this year, early July. Sorry, my camera died, so I guess that's a sign to end the video here. Anyways, yeah, we're slowing down our buying right now. That was my business partner actually texting me, but basically, total profit for the year so far, $667,630. Obviously, the majority of that was within almost all of it was within the first 6 months of this year, which was mind blowing. To go over $100,000 profit a month at the beginning of the year is crazy. But we're not gonna see. I don't know. I don't want to doubt myself or be pessimistic here, but I don't know if we're going to break that $700,000 profit this year with how fast the market's shifting. Like I said, we still have 4 properties that we're closing on. 95 days is the average timeline for these properties, which is just shy of 3 months. Some of these properties, like the eviction house right here, that's a whole nother video, but that took 218 days because we had to wait for squatters to move out. So that kind of skewed that data a little bit. Profit per day, $511. And then cash on cash return percentage, 13.7% on our money invested. So that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. I hope this video, I don't know, I just wanted to be a little bit transparent with you guys. Me and my business partner both wanted to make videos on this topic, talking about our first loss, because I don't think a lot of people in this industry really talk about or have full transparency. And a big thing on mine and his channel is we are both very open. We're both very transparent with everything that we do. Like, there's no reason for us to BS anything. I don't see a point in that. Obviously, sometimes it's amazing, but we also have to be prepared to take losses with how fast the market's shifting too. So we're grateful that we've had decent margins. All these properties we bought were still in the peak of the market. So we're grateful that when we bought those properties, we had good chunks of margin in mind where we could basically float a market like this and still be break even, slight profit, slight loss, rather than just like a complete downfall of like $60,000-$70,000 losses like some of these other flippers that I'm seeing right now. I'll see you guys soon. Follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram. Thanks for watching. Video suggestions, comments down below. I appreciate it, guys.